Yeah, hi. Good evening, guys. So, in this video, I will be making a very simple programs of linked list, and this is not. This video is not for the students who already have some background in the programming. This is just a novice coding session where the main idea would be like how the linked list work. So this is for the absolute beginner. So don't poke me, sir. You're not taking any complexity consideration, or you're not used the double pointers as a reference and all that. So this is just a very basic program about the linked list and its various functions. Okay, so let's start the very basic program. So hash include stdio dot h, right? So this is basically for the printf and scanf we normally use it, and then hash include stdlib.h. Why we use this? Because your implementation of null is inside the standard library header file. Okay, then let me make structure for my data structure linked list, and I'm naming that structure as a node. And this data structure is basically comprising of two parts. First part, I'm naming it as an information part, which contains data, and my data is a form of integer, so I'm writing int info. Second, basically a pointer. Second part will be a pointer part, which will contain the address of a next node. Now, since it is a pointer, it will contain, definitely it will contain the address. And address of next node means it's a self-referential structure. So a self-referential structure has to be of type struct. So it will be struct node star link, right? And also a variable of the structure, let's suppose a struct node star first. So it can be first, it can be head, or it can be anything. So this is your structure variable, right? And these are structure members. And if you want to access the members, you will have to use the structure variable first. Okay. Now let's make various prototypes like void create to create a linked list, void display to display a linked list, and then various other functions like void insert underscore beginning, void insert underscore end. Right, let me first implement these two functions, and later on we'll be writing all those function, basic function. So void main, let's first function is your create function. Then let's display the linked list. We will create. Let me make a program, void create. Okay, so in order to create a linked list, what we require first is we require a node, right? We first want to create a node. So let me name that as struct node star ptr. So what I'm going to do just now, I'm going to create a node. Okay, and how you create a node, you basically allocate the memory. So how to allocate a memory? It is just nothing. You simply write ptr is equal to struct node star malloc size of struct node. So what this function will do, this function will allocate a memory of size structure. of your size structure. Then malloc returns what? Malloc returns a void pointer. So you have to typecast that pointer to struct. So whatever the node that would be created, that would be assigned some address. So you're storing that address to a variable called as PTR. That's why you've declared a PTR variable, PTR struct node star, right? So after that, since you've created your one node and you have assigned an address to it and you have assigned that address to a variable called PTR, so a node gets created, right? So what you will do now, since a node gets created, you want to assign that node with some information or with some kind of data. So let me take another variable, int data, and let me write a printf statement, enter the value of first node. Let's take the input. Okay, so far so good. So far what we have done, we have simply created a node, assigned the value to the node, right? So far we have not assigned the value, we have simply taken one input, the data as input. Now I want to assign this data to your, which part? To your information part of the structure. So how will you assign that? So this is your node, right? So this node will having two parts. First is info and second is a link. So this data is gonna enter into the info part. So what you will do, you will simply write that ptr arrow info is equal to data, right? So info part gets some entry. Now next, the important part here is, since you have created a node and once I have declared a structure at the very beginning, I specify one thing clearly here, that this first pointer is nothing but your structure variable, and this will point to the very first node of a linked list. I'm not going to move this first pointer. I'm basically using some other pointer, assigning the address of first to those pointer, and will be moving that pointer, but not the first pointer. First, I am assuming it is pointing to the very first node of a linked list, so no need to move the first pointer. So once you have created this PTR pointer, now since this first node gets created, you want to assign the address of this first node to your first pointer. So writing first is equal to PTR, right? So this first pointer is now pointing to the very first node of a linked list. And so your first node gets created here, and the first point is pointing to the very first node of a linked list. Now, in order to make a linked list, what you require node, one by one, until unless you wanted to finish it, right? So basically, you need the concept of loop so that you can create node by node by node. So what I'm doing here, I'm running a simple while loop here, do while loop, and I'm creating one more node. CPT again is equal to struct node star malloc size of struct node. So this will create one more node and with the name CPT. So now one more node gets created. So you want to again assign some data to this node. So I'm simply copying it, pasting it here. Enter the value of next node. So scanner data, right? So now you want to assign this data to this node information part. So CPT arrow info is equal to data. Okay. So we have two nodes get created, one with the name PTR, other with the name CPT. Now you want to link this PTR with CPT, right? So what you will do, you will write PTR arrow link is equal to CPT. Okay, now the link part of the first node is connected with the second node, which is your CPT. So what we will do now, so let's suppose if we run a loop again, a new node will be created. The info part will assign some data, and then PTR link is equal to CPT. Now, let me tell you again a very important thing which I'm telling you right now. Let's suppose we run a loop once more. So a new node will be created with the name CP. That would be your third node, right? Since your PTR is pointing to the first node and now the CPT is pointing to your third node. So when you write this line CPT info is equal data, the third node will contain the data. But since this PTR is pointing to the first node and you're linking the first node with the third node, so the link with the second node gets distorted, right? It is lost somewhere. So what you will have to do, you will have to assign this PTR with the address of the second node so that when you run a loop again and a new node get created, since you have incremented the pointer PTR, now the PTR is pointing to what? The second node. So it gets connected to the third node. So far so good. So now what to do? So you have CPT info data, PTR link is equal to CPT, PTR is equal to CPT. Now printf, I'm asking that press Y or Y for new node. And if you do not want a new node, you can press any other character, so it will exit, right? So I'm asking the user to print Y. So scanf percentage C, comma, address ch, take one more character here, char ch. It's always a good idea to flush so that your scanf can work perfectly fine. Otherwise, in certain scenarios, it will cause a problem because since the enter is inside the buffer, so it will create a problem. So you will have to flush that enter. So scanf, this is done. So what we have done till now, we have created a node initially. We have assigned a value to that node, right? Then we have assigned the first pointer, which is pointing to the first node. So first node gets created till this. Now, in a while loop, what we have done, we have created one more node with the name CPT, and we have assigned some data to CPT. Then PTR, this PTR first node link part is pointing to the second node. Then we are moving the first pointer to the second node itself, so that again when we run a loop, so a new node will be created. And once a new node is created, since PTR is pointing to the previous node, so it's get connected properly. Fine. And so far so good. So after that we will write while if ch is equal to y or ch is equal to y. Now let's suppose since somebody puts n as a character, so it will come out of the loop. Once it come out of the loop, it means your linked list is finished. Once your linked list is finished, you should gonna make ptr link as null, right? So this is my linked list gets created, right? Now I want to display the linked list. So let's display. So write again a very simple function. I'm writing void display struct node star ptr. Now since your linked list is created and the first point is pointing to the very first node of a linked list, now you want to display the linked list, so you are taking one more pointer ptr and you want this ptr to point to the first node of a linked list, and the first node of a linked list is containing the address first, right? So you what you will do, right? Ptr is equal to first. Now this ptr points to the first node of a linked list. So now what you want the values to get printed in a sequential manner, like 10, 20, 30, 40. So you need a loop, right? So loop कब तक चाहिए तुम्हें यार, जब तक कि null नहीं है, right? Let's suppose अगर मेरे को values print करानी है 1 to 5, so I'll write I less than equal to 5 because I want the values only from 1 to 5. Similarly, I want values from starting till the end of the linked list, and end of the linked list means what? A null. So what you will do, you will simply run a while loop saying while ptr not equals to null, या जब तक मेरा ptr null ना हो मैं कुछ values print कराऊं, और वो values क्या होंगी, printf percentage d, let's say just for easy viewing of the data we are using tab printf percentage d slash t ptr arrow info, right? So the info part get printed. Now you want your PTA to move to the next node. Just compare it to the simple loop. I am telling you again and again, compare it to the simple loop. You're writing for I equals to 0, right? So similarly, I've initialized my pointer with first. Then you write I less than equal to 5. I'm writing well PTR not equals to because I want to run all the values like till the linked list is finished. Now PTR in for the first value gets printed. Now when we want to print 1 to 5, we keep on incrementing the value of I as I plus plus. Similarly, in this, I want to increment my PTR should so that it points to the next node. So I will write PTR is equal to PTR arrow link. Now my PTR is pointing to the next node. So again, the loop will run. Info part gets printed. So print. Okay. So this is absolutely fine so far so good right now. Okay. So let me check whether this is working or not. So let me execute this. Okay, must return int. Int main. We have the habit of typing turbo C return 0. CPT pose not declared in the scope. Struct node star ptr comma star CPT. Okay, let's check it now. Okay, so no error so far. So let's see what happens. So enter the value of first node, let's suppose 10. Enter the value of next node, let's suppose 20. Press Y, let me press a Y. Enter the next node 30. Again Y, 60. Again, enter the value of next node. Let's suppose 80. Now I'm printing, suppose U. Okay, so 10, 20, 30, 60, 80, it gets printed. Okay, all right guys. So this is a very simplest code, but do not try to write such type of code in the interview because this is just for this code suffice and for the companies like TCS, Wipro, and Infosys, that is fine. But for any good product-based company, do not write this code, please. So that programming practice we'll do later on. This is just for the simplest exercise for the very novice programmer who just want to enter into this programming world, that how to create a simple linked list and display. Okay, thank you guys. Take care. Bye.